Alright, so I've been using the Apple Watch Ultra 2 for about a year now, and well, it's been a beast. It's rugged, it's got that tank feeling to it on your wrist, and it does exactly what it promises. Handles extreme conditions and maintains its extreme durability status. Over the past year, I've banged this thing around on walls, concrete, metal, you name it, I've probably done it, and not a single scratch. Yeah, this thing is literally built like a tank. But recently, I decided to switch it up. I moved over to the brand new Apple Watch Series 10. And let me tell you, this thing is sleek. So today, I'm going to break down why I made the switch to the Apple Watch Series 10 and what makes the Series 10 such a game changer.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would anybody switch from the Ultra 2 to the Series 10? The Ultra is marketed as the top-of-the-line do-it-all device, right? It's built for adventurers, it's got amazing battery life, and it's got features that most people won't even get to use. But that's exactly the point. It's built for the extremes, and in day-to-day life, it can be a bit much. Let's be real. I'm not climbing Mount Everest every other week. That's where the Series 10 comes in. It's designed for the everyday user, but don't let that fool you into thinking that it's not powerful. This is Apple we're talking about after all. They've packed some serious tech into this new design. First off, this is the thinnest Apple Watch ever made. We're talking 9.7mm thick. It's almost 30% thinner than the Apple Watch Ultra, and trust me, you feel the difference. When you've been rocking something this bulky for months, putting on something as slim as this feels like a breath of fresh air. Now, why does the thinness matter? Well, when you're using the Ultra for everyday tasks like working out, commuting, or just typing at a desk, it gets in the way. It's chunky and you can't help but notice it. The Series 10 though? Minimal, streamlined. It feels like a part of you, an extension of your wrist almost. Apple really nailed it with the weight and the thickness this time. It's not just about the thickness though. This thing is minimal. The 46mm size doesn't feel that big because of how well Apple has balanced the weight. The jet black aluminum case is sleek and surprisingly durable. I was skeptical at first. Black watches tend to show scratches easily, but so far, no scratches. Things may change though in the future with more consistent use, but for now it's been great. Plus, it's not a fingerprint magnet, which is surprising given how smooth and reflective it looks. Apple really thought about everyday wear and tear. The Series 10 aluminum option comes in this gorgeous jet black color at the base price, making it not only premium looking, but also more affordable compared to something like the titanium options. And if you're into other finishes, they've also got silver and rose gold as well. It's like Apple's catering to every style preference with this lineup. Then you've got the display. Apple is calling it the largest and the most advanced display ever on an Apple Watch. We're looking at a screen that's 75% larger than the Series 3 and 30% bigger than even the Series 4. It's an always-on Retina display that now reaches up to 2000 nits of brightness, just like the Series 9. But here's the kicker. It's even better at off viewing angles. So when your hand's at rest, you can still check the time clearly, pretty much from any angle. Here's the thing. When you're wearing a watch all day long, little details like off-angle visibility start to matter. How many times have you subtly glanced at your watch while in a meeting, at a movie, or even while you're working out? With older models, the viewing angles weren't always great, and you had to turn your wrist awkwardly to see the display. Now with this wider OLED, it doesn't matter how you look at it. It's just there, sharp and clear. For people who are on the move all the time, whether you're biking, walking, or even cooking, this extra brightness and off-angle visibility makes a world of difference. And if you're like me, you'll appreciate being able to check the time and notifications without much effort. Just a quick glance does the job. That's Apple making small improvements that make a huge real-world impact. Now, I know a lot of you are asking about Siri. Does it work offline? Yes, with the new S10 chip, Siri now works offline for basic requests, like setting timers or alarms. And the Precision Find My feature lets you locate your iPhone 15 and up with crazy accuracy. Apple's really trying to make Siri feel faster and more responsive. And by cutting out the need for an internet connection for certain tasks, it feels like they've taken a big step in the right direction. This isn't the Siri that we're used to. This is an improved, quicker, and smarter Siri. You can do a lot without even being online, which is perfect if you're traveling or you find yourself in places with weak signals. Another huge upgrade for me has been the sleep tracking. The Series 10 goes beyond just monitoring sleep stages. It can now notify you about potential sleep apnea. It uses the accelerometer to track interruptions in your breathing while you sleep, which could be life-saving. This feature isn't available everywhere just yet, but it's a big deal. And here's the thing, sleep apnea is a serious condition. It's one of those conditions that goes undetected in a lot of people, but it can lead to bigger issues like heart problems or even stroke. Apple, using their technology to help detect this, That's quite significant. You're not just wearing a fitness tracker anymore. You're wearing something that could quite literally save your life. Speaking of health, Apple stepped up the game with the Training Load Insights. This basically measures how intense your workouts are and how they impact your body over time. It's perfect if you're serious about improving your fitness. And let's not forget, you can even pause activity rings to promote rest days, because recovery is just as important as working out. One of the features I love here is how the training load tracker works. Apple's taking fitness tracking to a whole new level by measuring not just your heart rate, but also things like elevation and effort. The watch can now give you a score on how intense your workout was. It's like having a coach on your wrist that tells you when to push harder and when to pull back. For athletes or even regular gym goers, this is a big deal. Now let's talk about charging. Apple's fast charging is a game changer for everyday use. You can go from 0 to 80% in about 30 minutes. That is clutch if you're like me and you use this watch for sleep tracking. You can charge it quickly before bed, get all of your sleep data, and you're ready to go in the morning. And let's not downplay how significant this is. The battery life on the Apple Watch has always been decent, but if you're someone who tracks everything, workout, sleep, heart rate, and more, you need something that charges fast. In 30 minutes, you have got enough juice for the day. Plus, with the low power mode, you can stretch that up to 36 hours if you need to. Now, let's get real for a second. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 is a fantastic watch, but after an year of wearing this, I started noticing it was getting in the way, especially during workouts. It's just too big and too heavy. Apple designed the Ultra for extreme conditions, and if you're someone who's diving, hiking, or scaling mountains every weekend, it's perfect. But honestly, for day-to-day use, this felt like an overkill to me. When you're typing at your desk, lifting weights, or even sleeping, the Ultra's bulk starts to become noticeable. And don't get me wrong, I love the Ultra's features. It's got a depth gauge, an 86 decibel siren, dual frequency GPS, and it's practically indestructible. But at some point, you start to wonder if you really need all of that power on your wrist every single day. For most people, including myself, the answer is no. So when I decided to try out the Series 10, it felt like coming home. The first thing I noticed was the comfort. Going from the Ultra 2 to something as light and thin as the Series 10 is like switching from a pair of hiking boots to your favorite running shoes. You feel liberated, it's minimal, it's sleek, and it just feels right. But don't mistake that slim design for weakness. The Series 10 can still handle a lot. It's got a 6-meter depth gauge and a water temperature sensor, which means it's perfectly capable of taking on swims or any water-based activities. The wide-angle OLED display is sharper, brighter, and easier to use, whether you're indoors or out in the sun. And for me, the health features like the sleep tracking and the new sleep apnea detection are exactly what I need in a wearable. And let's not forget about the future of the Apple Watch. Apple's been teasing Apple Intelligence, which is set to change our lives. Imagine a watch that doesn't just follow your commands, but anticipates your needs. The Series 10 is built to integrate AI in ways we've only seen glimpses of so far. Picture this, you wake up and your watch suggests your workout for the day. It calculates your recovery time based on your past workouts, and even gives you prompts throughout the day to stay hydrated or move around. We're not quite there yet, but this is where things are headed. So to sum it all up, why did I switch? It ultimately boils down to 3 things: comfort, design, and practical features. The Ultra 2 is a powerhouse, no question, but the Series 10 strikes a balance that fits into my everyday life so much better. It's thinner, it's lighter, and honestly, it just looks better. And don't underestimate that. There's something about having a minimal, sleek device on your wrist that feels more modern. The Ultra is great for extreme sports, but for most of us, the Series 10 is more than enough. From the precision health metrics to the fast charging, from the bright and readable display to the offline Siri, the Series 10 nails all the basics and then some. It's not just an evolution from the Series 9. I feel like it's a leap. And if you're someone like me who loves tech, but you want it to integrate seamlessly into your life, the Series 10 is where it's at. So there you have it. That's why I made the switch. If you're debating between the Ultra 2 and the Series 10, or even upgrading from an older model, hopefully this video helps you make a decision. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you sticking with the Ultra, or does the Series 10 seem like a better fit for your lifestyle? I'm actually curious to hear what you guys all have to say. And of course, if you guys made it to the end of this video, drop a dolphin emoji down in the comments below. I would love to know who my true supporters are. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did find this video helpful. And of course, don't forget to flex with your tech.